Alright, we should have a mic here. Let me check. Test, yes. Including the famous sidechain. This is crusts. And this is something else. Collide and fading in. This is actually just the filter resonance that you're hearing at the moment. Alright, everything is back off again. What we're hearing now is Crusts. Crusts is a drum module by Pastel. Collaboration, well, it's based on the Pizza TSP platform, and the Pizza is right here, and that was what you were hearing before. Pizza through Ikari and through Collide. But the Crust is a complex drum module because you have two layers. There's a layer with oscillators, which I discussed in another part of my video, which I'm preparing. This is preparation for a video that I'm making on the Crust. So there's an oscillator layer with a couple of possibilities. Lots of fun to be had. The layer we're focusing on now is the noise layer. I set it up so it sounds nice for this patch. What you can also do is put it halfway, and then this is actually a crossfader. So I'm focusing on the noise layer for this patch. The noise layer has 4 modes, which I don't know by heart, but I'm going to look it up by the time I do the video. Most obviously is of course the clap one. Sounds like a clap. If I remove some of the modulation. That's a more plain clap for you. This is, I don't know, that's plain white noise with some processing on it. The metal, if I'm not mistaken, is using an XOR mechanism to XOR two noise sources, which gives a nice tangy sound. And finally this one, which I don't know exactly what the algorithm is between, I looked that up. But the fun thing with this one is that it goes into some sort of more tuned effect, like this. which I then use in a very low frequency to generate some sort of kick sound, which is actually kind of fun, because using the noise layer I can then do a kick sound and some sort of hat sound like this. So what else is there to say? Well, I use this knob for octave switching. Doesn't really work if you have the filter set up. Anyway. So that's octave switch. There is a sweep here, but I think the sweep function only works for the oscillator version. So here you have a sweep like a typical kick sweep. And this is the opposite, where you start with a low sound and it goes up in frequency. It doesn't seem to do much in the noise layer. I need to look it up before I make my video. The envelope here on the right side, so clockwise, in the middle you basically don't have anything. Clockwise you have a very steep attack and then a long decay, which gets longer the further you turn it. Well, counterclockwise it will give you a attack decay like a triangle. For percussion I like this sort of thing. Then this slider has three functions. There's a filter function, a clip function, and a shape function. The shape function only works in the layer 4. Hold on. Only works in the oscillator layer, and the filter doesn't work in the oscillator layer, but in the noise layer the shape doesn't do anything, but the filter starts working. Clipping works in both modes. There's two different clipping algorithms in there. What controls do we have? If you set this to clip, for example, and you use this CV input, then this will control the clipping. So this will control whatever is highlighted here. You have a trigger here, which is a velocity control. The control is quite particular because it does the same as on the pizza, but it's much more complicated. The most basic version, you can just set it to shape, clip, and filter, or a combination thereof, but you can also set it to a couple of things here, which is all very complicated. You can even set it to stuff here. So the amount of possibilities in Crust is really completely overwhelming. I'm trying to do my best with my patches to give some demonstration of it. And for this one I'm using clipping for the control. For that I have the orange cable, which is coming from an LFO on the NerdSec. So now it goes down and then comes back up again, which gives this BT effect and then a hi-hat effect. For the main entry point here, I'm using this one, which is a setting. I don't know if you can see my, no, not entirely. Anyway, in here in my pattern, I'm using the mod parameter, which is this one out, to control the filter here. So depending on which note I'm triggering, it's actually going to filter more or less, so you can get a very nice clicky effect for the high ones and a boomy effect for the other ones. And that's basically it. That's how I control the crust in noise mode to get a wide variety of sounds, and then I'm not even using the oscillator one. So in the next patch in the previous patch I actually worked with the oscillator version. In this patch that I'm going to do in my video, I'm going to show what I've just shown you with the noise, and then finally I'm going to control this layer with the modulation, so you sometimes get an oscillator sound and sometimes a noise sound. then you have the full overview and the full range of crust sounds in one patch. But believe me, it's an incredible module, but it's hard to control. Anyway, back to some more fun. Adding back in the Collider filter resonance. And now I'm going to start adding back in the pizza. By the way, the stereo effect that you hear is because I've tuned the oscillator of the Collide to a very low frequency, and that cancels out the left side and the right side one after the other, which is an effect I can control with that. I'll come back to that in just a second. Fun thing with Collide, that's how I configured it here, is it's in tracking mode. So if I change this the oscillator frequency, the filter will track it and it's more or less in tune. And then this delta 90% gives a different effect in the stereo field. It's turning into a Collide demo, for God's sake. that was it. Thanks for watching.